Hello YouTubers, this is a new session where I get to show you how you can expose your own LLM on a RESTful API. Whether you're using this internally in a bunch of servers or you want to expose this to the world and sell it and start a new business, that's AI based, whatever your endeavor may be, this is going to be your kind of chance to kind of see how to do that on a very, very basic and simple level. So just to kind of visualize what I'm talking about here from the beginning, what I'm going to show you today is basically building a simple API. This is a RESTful API, and this API has an LLM. It has a smart LLM setting behind it. LLM like that. Could be llama, could be anything you want. And the API is using this LLM basically to expose an endpoint. And then I'm going to show you how you can have a client, just like when you do with ChatGPT or whatever, that client will basically send a prompt to that server. Here's a prompt and stream a response. Because remember, like how AI works, it's kind of a think of it as a really glorified autocomplete, kind of machine. So if you wait for the entire response to come back, right, your client is already timed out and they already walked away. They want to get that response as soon as it comes through, right? If you talk to any chat, system in the world, you'll notice that it does exactly that. Any LLM system in the world, you'll notice that it does exactly that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So let's just start a simple LLM offline streaming project. There it is. And I think you might benefit from me kind of increasing the size. Let's go 250. 250 is massive, but it's perfect. Okay, 250. Here we go. Okay, hopefully you can see the solution. This is the closest I can get. And I'm going to start a new project here, and this is going to be a simple ASP.NET Core API, and I'm going to call it LLM offline streaming API. So this is the API. There's the API, and there will be. I don't want to use a Docker, not just yet. So enable container support. Nope. And we're just gonna verify real quick that this is doing what we think it's doing. So usually it comes with like a health forecast controller that's very poorly named and designed. Let's just make sure that the API actually works. There we go. The API is basically running on this port 7102. Okay, let's ping that guy. So here's, you know what? I'm gonna do it the new school, right? Does curl work here? Oh, perfect. Oh, beautiful. So we're gonna curl it. But what's my it's not letting me paste in here. It's HTTPS and then localhost 7102 slash weather forecast, I think. There you go. Looks like it's working. It's giving you the temperature. It's giving you everything. Fantastic. Okay, so we have an up and running API. Okay, now we're gonna need to add a couple of things to this API. First of all, I'm gonna add like some kind of a broker, right? So brokers, and then I'm gonna call it LLM broker, LLM broker. And this broker here, its main job is to literally just go and find an LLM and run that LLM and give me the response, right? So what we expect, if I put an interface for this LLM broker, is that it's gonna go and say async enumerable because it's giving you the responses slowly but surely, and then prompt async because it's asynchronous, and here's the message. Okay, so just like that. And then we're going to try to implement that guy. For starters, I need to go and install Llama Sharp and Llama Sharp CPU backend. So let me go here, Llama Sharp. There's Llama Sharp install. It'd be nice if we could install multiple. Just copy the thing. And there's backend CPU. If you're running on a nice GPU, I'm running on AMD, so It's not gonna play nice. But if you're running on a GeForce or something, don't choose the CPU. Use the Coda 12 or something like that. It's much better, right? Also, we need an LLM, right? So let's go find a nice LLM here. Just give me a second. Here is, I know you can't see it because I'm looking through some things. Let's pick up Mistral again. Mistral is a good friend. So here's Mistral. I'm gonna drop Mistral right here. It's huge. Just do you understand? It's like a 7 gig thing. So unless you have a beast of a machine for your own learning, just play with the smaller models. But definitely see even my even with my 200 gigs. What's my specs? My specs is you got 7900. I don't know, a lot of i9 1400, a lot of stuff going on. 4 terabytes, a lot of memory. I think I have 200 gigs of memory. I don't know why it's not showing it in here. That's silly. But yeah, a lot of stuff. It's still churning. There you go. Finally. So you got that GGUF guy. You just want to make sure that it always copies to your output directory, because if it doesn't copy, it won't find it, right? Now, I showed you this code before. If you remember, we talked a little bit about I actually still have it from the previous session, which is like the LLM the LLM session that I just wrapped up. We can just go and pick up this guy, except that we're gonna give it a better name. So LLM chat. I'm gonna take all of this. I'm gonna put it down here, and then I'm gonna go here and actually really drop all of that right here. Okay. Instead of this massive thing that we were doing, we'll just say you are a helpful assistant. And that's it. That's as far as you know. LLM broker for the constructor. Constructor doesn't need, well, we could hard code the model path here so we don't have to do that. I think that's probably better. Yeah, let's do that. So let's take these two. Let's take all these and put them in here because here we go. And the model path, which is basically really where the model is, right? That's the model which we copied locally. But of course, if you're building something for the enterprise, something scalable, you want to make sure that you're actually, hosting these somewhere else, and the speed and the cloud network and all that. Still, baby steps. I'm getting your foot in the door. And then also LLM broker. So that's your LLM broker right here. This guy is upset because it's expecting you to implement something that you're not, which is this guy. In here, if you look at this chat async and return for each and whatnot, this guy itself is returning the message that I'm looking for, right? So all I really need, I just need to copy this code right here. And instead of that response, I'll just return the session. Return session.chat async like that. And this is your user message. There you go. Is this guy still upset? No, it's not. Okay, let's take that guy out. We don't need that send async anymore. So this way I created a broker, right? This broker is gonna basically handle, whoa, look at that. It's gonna handle the communication with the LLM, right? So I basically put a broker right here, and that's your LLM broker. Now, usually I put a service before I put an exposure layer, but because this is just for demo purposes, I'm gonna connect the controller straight to the LLM and have it just kind of spin up the response, right? So let's go down here. Let's do this again, and let's just make sure things are working. So I'm gonna delete this weather forecast, whatever, because we don't need that. I'm gonna make sure that our weather forecast is not referenced anywhere else. And then I'm gonna go and add a new controller here. And let's call that controller our chats controller. Chats controller, like that. Okay, so that's your chats controller. You want your controller to return, so this is basically HTTP post. So you're posting, and async enumerable of a string, and then post prompt async, right? And I'm passing in this from body, I'm passing in the prompt. So from body, I'm passing in a prompt like this. Let's go and bring in our LLM broker, the magic LLM broker. Never ever call your broker in the controller. This is only for teaching stuff. So let's generate constructor. There you go. This is a nice one-liner that we could leverage here. There you go. Control KE. And then what I want to do here is to basically say return async enumerable. So this is this dot LLM broker dot prompt async, like that. Okay, so far so good. We might need to iterate and yield, we'll see. But for so far, I'm gonna rely on the out of the box thing that's happening. So that basically means if I go and say post API slash chats and post in the body a prompt, this guy's supposed to work. Let's just find out if that's true, right? So let me kind of rebuild the whole solution, make sure everything is running. Actually, while it's doing that, I need to. It's gonna take a while because it's copying. I should probably say copy if newer, not copy always, because if you say copy always, it's a lot. So let's go here and say restore one more projects. Been changed outside. Yeah, sure. Builder.services.add transient LLM broker right there. Okay. So you have these two LLM brokers. Sorry, the interface and the implementation, and you injected that in here. Let's rebuild this thing. Here we go. It's gonna take forever because this guy's 7 gigs. So let's give it a second there. Yeah, literally 7 gigs, this guy. Okay. It's almost done. Come on. So technically, just while it's doing that, yeah, rebuild all succeeded. This is great. Now let's run this guy and actually test it. Let's hit that endpoint and see if it actually works. So I'm gonna use Postman here this time. And in Postman this time, I'm gonna try to hit the endpoint. I know you can't see it yet, but you will in a second. In just a second. Okay. Here we go. Here's Postman. I'm gonna do post, and then I want to go and say, hey, in Postman, I want to pick up the URL, which is this guy right here. And then in here, I'm gonna go and say, go to the body, raw, and then JSON. And then I'm gonna put here something like, hi, how are you doing? Let's see that async enumerable. Postman sucks at that. Like Postman is not going to give you step by step, but we just want to confirm that our API is working the way it's supposed to. So it's API slash chats, right? And we're sending send. Here we go. Do you see? Let me hide my face here for a second. Do you see how on the right side here it says receiving response? Oh, you're not even seeing it. Oh, it already responded. Perfect. So when I hit it, it was saying I'm receiving response, and now your API is returning all of that fun stuff, which is not the ideal experience, but I'll tell you why this is okay. Because when you're actually building the client, the thing that's going to consume this, it's going to look brilliant. So technically, we finished all of this together just right now. Now let's get to that guy here. That's the guy that's going to really bring all that into perspective. So let's go back to our project. I'm going to shut down this guy. So now you have an API that's actually serving an LLM. I'm going to start just a simple console application. And I'm going to call it LLM offline streaming client. So this is the client that's going to consume, it's going to eat up that API that you have, that you're working with basically. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that you can actually, well, let me just show you what I'm going to do first. So this is var HTTP client, new HTTP client. Okay, great. And then your HTTP client dot you want to put the base address, right, which is a new URI, and this URI will be this client that this URL that I just put for this guy, which is great. Okay, and then I want to go and say var HTTP request. This is a new HTTP request message, right? And that request message has HTTP method, which is a post, right? And the URI we're doing is basically API/chats. Okay. Uh, in the HTTP request, I can send the content, right? So we want to send content. Hi, how are you doing? Okay, I think it's new content. No HT, yeah, new HTTP content. Is it like this? HTTP content. Let's see. HTTP. This guy's a base class. So we need the actual message, right? So HTTP listener content with header. Hold on, I'll tell you. This guy has content, right? And then in the content, we want to say HTTP. We did the request message, right? So we need the content. But this content is basically, this content is what? It's not going to work. Hold on a second. I'll tell you. We need basically the client to basically give us the content. Okay. So this guy, I know you can't see it yet, but I'll tell you. Trying to find a good example for you here. Yeah, JSON content create. That's right. That's right. So let's go back here. Yeah, JSON content dot create, right? And inside this guy, you can say, hi, what is the capital of France, basically. Okay, and then we can go here and say HTTP client dot send async with that HTTP request. We can await that guy. We can await that guy. So async task, your main method now can do an await. This is like from .NET like 7 or something. And this is the response, just like that. So now I'm making that call. I'm looking for the response, right? You send the response, and you want to make sure, like, we might need to change the response header, but we want to ensure the status code. But here's where it gets interesting. I want to read the response as a stream, right? So this is response stream equals, okay, and then await response dot content dot read as stream async. So I'm reading this response as a stream right here. And then I'm gonna start iterating, right? I want to basically, every time I get a response, it gets back to me. So I'm gonna say await for each, watch this, and then var token, right, in JSON serializer. Here's where it gets interesting. JSON serializer dot deserialize async enumerable. So you're basically saying, I know that what you're receiving from the outside world is an async enumerable, and I'm gonna work with you to make this happen in this particular way, right? I think this guy needs the type argument serializer stream cannot be inferred from this usage. Oh, it's basically saying I don't know whether you need an option in here to be passed or not. I can just say like initialize a simple option. So var JSON options equal new JSON serializer options, like that. Can I pass this guy in here so it's just happy? Like that. Happy, happy. The type arguments for method. Oh, it needs to serialize into something. That's right. I misread that. So now it's getting string, and then every time it gets a response, it's gonna print it out. You see what it's doing? So every time, so now it's calling this API and it's sending this request, right? I probably should do response ensure success code, and then it doesn't when it doesn't. But let's just run this. So I'm gonna run the API individually. So I'm starting a new instance for the API. So this is running on the side. We know that this is running right here. And then I'm gonna run this client. Debug, start a new instance. Here we go. Here comes the fireworks. What happened? I think we might have lost it. Let's see. Hold on. Can I run this guy from the package? Hold on. So ls cd llm offline client ls.net run. Let's see if that works. Is it streaming? Is it streaming? Not exactly what I wanted it to do. It got the response, but it's not exactly the way I want it to. Let's see here. We might be able to kind of just modify this a tiny bit to make it actually do what we want. What if I kind of encapsulated this whole thing? Let's just shut this thing down. Okay, so what if I basically said instead of await for each, you have await using var response, right? And then await response read as whatever async, right? Now, why is this guy complaining? Type used as asynchronous using statement. Let's say, so the response using var response, I don't need the await here. Okay, so using var response, and then you're doing that, and then you're basically saying use it, await using. I think this is what's going to do it for you. Await using var response stream, and then await response content, boom, and then you start running this way. Okay. All right. I want to set this as my startup project, and I want to spin a different instance of this guy. So start without debugging. So I'm starting my API in its own instance. There we go. So the API started, and then I'm going to start my client, and let's see the streaming. Oh, I need to do console read as well, right? So console read at this point. Let's see here. It's not exactly doing what I want it to. I still want it to, let's see, maybe we can add some more options here. So maybe if I do property name case sensitive true, I don't think that matters much, but it might. We did say it's supposed, we did put the whole conversation, that's right. We maybe response header read at the send async. Maybe that will do the trick for us. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, it's printing it. The only difference here is that it just needs to say write instead of write line, and then you'll see the response coming nicely. Watch this. Assistant, the capital front. There you go. We got it. We got it just like that. Right? So if I put this in a forever loop and basically continue to request, right, it will just do that trick for me. So if I say while true, like that, and then go all the way down here and say console write line user, or rather make it right like that, and then user prompt equal console.readline. Okay, and then I'll take that user prompt and put it right here, and it will basically start responding to me. So it'll basically say console write system like that. Let's add in here console write line just because. Yeah, now I could probably interact forever with the system. Say user, how are you doing today? I'm functioning well, blah, blah, blah. User, what is the tallest building in the world? There you go. You're just interacting with an API, and it doesn't matter like how it doesn't matter how uh, unqualified, like hardware wise, your system is. This will still do the trick for you. So this opens infinite number of doors for you, because now you can, like throughout this series, I showed you how you can pull a GGUF, run it locally. Okay, we figured that out. We talked about how to make it call an MCP server, and we're still going in that direction. But also at the same time, I want to help you package it. Like you can fine tune it, you can package it, you can put it out there on the internet, you can expose it, you can build a nice UI on top of it, and basically you're building ChatGPT, right? That's all that it is. A server, a GGUF model, and an interface, and the interface interacting with the server. The LLM knows whether to call an MCP server, whether to kind of interact directly with the model, or whatever the case may be. I apologize for the little bit struggle back and forth. I'm used to my own kind of RESTful sense tooling when it comes to this, but streaming is a whole different story. I hope you've learned something new today. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care.